everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and I'm here today to talk about some of my Fable Crate books. So I decided in January that I was going to do this video in which I was going to read the books that I'd gotten through Fable Crate, and I was going to basically read them all and see which ones I enjoyed and which ones I didn't, and then I was going to make a decision as to whether to keep going with my subscription or not. Like I said, I've been planning this since January and we're finally getting around to this. So I have 5 books here. I didn't even plan this, but I have ended up reading the books that I got from August, which was my very first box, through to the one I got in December. So these were all the ones that I got in 2021, and I just didn't read any of the ones that I got this year. I did read one, but I've decided not to talk about it in this video, and the other 3 that I've gotten so far I haven't read. So with that being said, we are going to jump in and I'm going to talk about them in the order that I got them, which is not the order that I read them, but I will have timestamps down below for each of the books, and I will also, I'm sorry if you can hear the traffic really bad. It's a very rainy day, so I feel like it's louder than usual. And I will also leave I will leave my playlist for all of the unboxings that I have done and that I will do in the future. So we will talk about the books one by one, and then I will kind of evaluate and talk about whether I will be continuing on with my subscription or not. So let's jump straight in. I've got myself a cuppa. You can't really see, but I do have both kitties. You can see an extra ear here, which is Fletchy, and then of course you can see Percy. Oh, okay. So let's start with the first ever book I got, which was the August box, and that was Blades of Secrets by Tricia Levenseller. To this day, this is one of my favorite covers that we've ever received. I think the illustrations are stunning, and it has these beautiful bright gold sparkly edges, and it's just a very pretty book here. Unfortunately, I did try to read this one about a month ago and I didn't enjoy it. I found the writing style very young, and I really struggle with that when it comes to especially fantasy books, because there was serious stuff happening, but it felt very young and naive, and it kind of took away from the story for me, because I was just expecting something very different. I think this is a really interesting premise. One of the main characters owns her own forgery, and she makes these special weapons that she kind of imbues with magic, and I was really liking that at the start. And it also, the main character also has anxiety, and it was very intense, and I really liked that. It felt very realistic, and I could definitely see experiences that I've had with anxiety in those moments, but that was kind of where it ended for me. I think I ended up reading about 50 or so pages, and I just wasn't enjoying it, and I didn't want to push myself to read it if I didn't think I would like it. And then we move on to September, which was Forestborn by Elaine Audrey Becker. So I actually read this one about a week or 2 after I had it arrive, so I can't really, the details are a bit fuzzy, but I really liked this one. I think I gave it 4 stars, and it was just, it's a fantasy, and it felt very immersive. At the time I was also reading Wheel of Time. It kind of reminded me a little bit of that, a little bit of like Lord of the Rings, and it had those kind of like those kind of like vibes to it, and I really liked that. This is the first book in a series, and I'll definitely be looking out for the second book, which I believe is due out around the same time this year, so around the sort of September, October mark, I think. And I'll definitely be grabbing that one. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun, and I'm not gonna lie, I was totally surprised that I ended up liking this, because I didn't think I would. But I'm really glad that I did read it, and a spoiler alert, this is my favorite of all of these. So next up for October, we got Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipstone. You might have seen in my vlog last week or the week before that I buddy read this one with Ash. So this is it's not really fantasy, I would say it's more sort of, it's like horror with a touch of magic and romance and all sorts of things like that. I loved this one at the start. It was really engaging and I was absolutely loving it, but as time went on I started enjoying it less and less and less. The romance was totally not convincing to me at all. I thought it moved very fast and I wasn't interested in that at all. And then I think that the rest of the story kind of dragged until all of a sudden everything happened. And so this one wasn't for me. I think I gave it 3 stars. I didn't hate it, but I just didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would from the start. And it is an absolutely stunning book. It has these beautiful dark green edges, and yes, so this is also the first book in a series. I won't be continuing with this one. And then we go on to November, which was Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood. I also mentioned this one in that vlog because Ash and I tried to buddy read this one first and neither of us got on with it. So a few months ago, I think towards the start of March, I listened to the first 2 chapters of this as an audiobook on Scribd, and I really liked that. I was very much intrigued by what was going on, but I was keeping in mind that this is described as a horror, I think also body horror, and I'm not really into that, so I was anticipating that I would listen to maybe the first quarter on the audiobook and then read it, because I feel like if I'm reading it, it's less scary than if I'm hearing it. But that didn't matter because I didn't end up making it that far. I think I got about 80 to 100 pages in and I was just really bored, and I really liked the sort of atmosphere of this. This is a Jane Eyre retelling, and there are these like demon possessed houses. It's very strange, and it was creepy without it being, I guess it was more like unsettling. And yeah, I was really enjoying that until it actually kind of started getting into things. And then I was just bored and I couldn't be bothered to read any more of it. So ended up unhauling this one, and yes. The one we got for December was Heart of the Impaler by Alexander Delacroix. Whew. This is stunning, for one. Absolutely beautiful cover. These bright red edges. Was so excited for this. This is a Vlad the Impaler retelling, and it's honestly one of the worst things I have ever read. It was terrible. So there were some redeeming qualities. I gave this 2 stars. There was I really enjoyed the political side of this, in which, yeah, we're learning about that side of the world. That was really interesting and well done, but the action scenes sucked, because basically what would happen is it would come up to the action scene and then it would like skip all the action and then tell you about it afterwards, which just kind of made it incredibly boring. And also this is a love triangle, which, you know, no hate. I don't mind love triangles. Like, they're not the worst thing to me if they're done well, but this one wasn't. And yeah, the romance was so bad, and I did not enjoy that at all. So this was definitely a doozy, but I did read all of it. I think because it kind of felt like one of those books where it's so bad that you can't look away, like it's a train wreck and you've just got to see it all the way through. And I did that. I did that. So there we are. Those are the 5 books that I read. And out of them, I only really enjoyed the one, which was Forestborn. And the other one that I did read that I didn't talk about in this video was Only a Monster, and I absolutely loved that one. So I'm not having the best of luck with these. So what does that mean for the future of my Fable Crate? Basically, I have decided that I'm going to stay subscribed for May because my payment has already gone through for that one, but also because the details that we got about the June book really interested me, and I really want to stick around and see what book that is and get that one, as well as some of the merch for different the fandoms that they listed were ones that I was interested in, so I will stick around for May and June. But after that, I'm going to be cancelling my subscription for the foreseeable future. I just feel like when I did subscribe to this, I was super excited. It was really the first book box like this that I'd gotten. All of the book boxes that I've gotten in the past have just been books, and this one was different with having the merch in as well. But I have realized that I don't really need that stuff. In fact, most of the stuff that I've gotten with the Fable Crate, quite a few of the things I have ended up passing on to my friends that I think would enjoy those things more than me, and other things have just kind of been sitting in my house, just gathering dust, so to speak, and I don't need that. I definitely don't need a bunch of stuff for a bunch of fandoms that I don't like. I will say that I have used some of the things. I've used the candle, there was some socks, loved those gloves that I got last time, really enjoyed. I've used most of the pins. I kind of switch out the pins that I use on my jacket every little while, so yeah, I've been using those. There are some other things that I have used as well, but on a whole, I don't need all the stuff that I don't end up using. And of course then the stuff that I do pass on, I then have to physically pass on, which means that they often stick around my house for a few weeks or a few months while I wait to see that person or to send it off or whatever else, and I just don't need that. And obviously I've enjoyed 2 of the books that I've gotten so far. Like I said, I still have some that I haven't read, but on a whole 2 doesn't feel like a very good amount, considering that I will be unhauling most of these, and that kind of seems like a waste. So I would definitely, after June, will be cancelling it. I'm not going to say that I'm never going to come back to it, because in a few months or a few years, if my situation changes and I have a little bit more room and I feel like I might use that kind of stuff a little more, or if I'm really interested in picking up these sorts of books again. These are not necessarily ones that I would pick up by myself, but it has been a good way to discover if I like certain things or not. Then I would consider doing that, or consider getting a different book box that is along these lines. But for now, I will have the last two ones, and then we'll cancel from there and see where we go. But that's the end of today's video. I hope you're all doing super well. I would love to hear if you are a subscriber of Fable Crate, and if you liked any of these books, or if any of the ones from this year that have come that you've really enjoyed. I'd love to hear that too. I am hoping to get to them in a few weeks or a few months time, and perhaps I will do a second part to this video in which I share those. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.